chapters 11 through 20 of Sonnets from the Portuguese of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information and to find out how you can volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Sam Stinson. Chapter 11. And therefore, if to love can be desert, I am not all unworthy. Cheeks as pale as these you see, and trembling knees that fail to bear the burden of a heavy heart. This weary minstrel life that once was girt to climb Aornus, and can scarce avail to pipe now 'gainst the valley nightingale a melancholy music. Why avert to these things? O beloved, it is plain I am not of thy worth, nor for thy place. And yet, because I loved thee, I obtain from that same love this vindicating grace to live on still in love, and yet in vain, to bless thee, yet renounce thee to thy face. End of chapter 11. Chapter 12. Indeed, this very love which is my boast, and which, when rising up from breast to brow, doth crown me with a ruby large enow, to draw men's eyes and prove the inner cost, this love even, all my worth, to the uttermost, I should not love withal, unless that thou hadst set me an example. Show me how, when first thine earnest eyes with mine were crossed, and love called love. And thus I cannot speak of love, even as a good thing of my own. Thy soul hath snatched up mine all faint and weak, and placed it by thee on a golden throne. And that I love, O soul, we must be meek, is by thee only, whom I love alone. End of chapter 12. Chapter 13. And wilt thou have me fashion into speech the love I bear thee, finding words enough, and hold the torch out, while the winds are rough between our faces, to cast light on each? I drop it at thy feet. I cannot teach my hand to hold my spirits so far off from myself, me, that I should bring thee proof in words of love hid in me out of reach. Nay, let the silence of my womanhood commend my woman, love, to thy belief, seeing that I stand on one, however wooed, and rend the garment of my life, in brief, by a most dauntless, voiceless fortitude, lest one touch of this heart convey its grief. End of chapter 13. Chapter 14. If thou must love me, let it be for naught except for love's sake only. Do not say, I love her for her smile, her look, her way of speaking gently, for a trick of thought that falls in well with mine, and certes brought a sense of pleasant ease on such a day. For these things in themselves, beloved, may be changed, or change for thee, and love so wrought may be unwrought so. Neither love me for thine own dear pities wiping my cheeks dry. A creature might forget to weep who bore thy comfort long, and lose thy love thereby. But love me for love's sake, that evermore thou mayst love on, through love's eternity. End of chapter 14. Chapter 15. Accuse me not, beseech thee, that I wear too calm and sad a face in front of thine. For we two look two ways, and cannot shine with the same sunlight on our brow and hair. On me thou lookest with no doubting care, as a bee shut in a crystalline. Since sorrow hath shut me safe in love's divine, and to spread wing and fly in the outer air were most impossible failure, if I strove to fail so. But I look on thee, beholding, besides love, the end of love, hearing oblivion beyond memory, as one who sits and gazes from above over the rivers to the bitter sea. End of chapter 15. Chapter 16. And yet, because thou overcomest so, because thou art more noble and like a king, thou canst prevail against my fears and fling thy purple round me, till my heart shall grow too close against thine heart henceforth to know how it shook when alone. Why? Conquering may prove as lordly and complete a thing in lifting upward as in crushing low. And as a vanquished soldier yields his sword to one who lifts him from the bloody earth, even so, beloved, I at last record, here ends my strife. If thou invite me forth, I rise above abasement at the word. Make thy love larger to enlarge my worth. End of chapter 16. Chapter 17. My poet, thou canst touch on all the notes God set between his after and before, and strike up and strike off the general roar of the rushing worlds, a melody that floats in a serene air purely. Antidotes of medicated music, answering for mankind's forlornest uses, thou canst pour from thence into their ears. God's will devotes thine to such ends, and mine to wait on thine. How, dearest, wilt thou have me for most use? A hope to sing by gladly, or a fine sad memory with thy songs to interfuse? A shade in which to sing of palm or pine, a grave on which to rest from singing? Choose. End of chapter 17. Chapter 18. I never gave a lock of hair away to a man, dearest, except this to thee, which now upon my fingers thoughtfully I wring out to the full brown length, and say, take it. My day of youth went yesterday. My hair no longer bounds to my foot's glee, nor plant I it from rose or myrtle tree, as girls do, any more. It only may now shade on two pale cheeks the mark of tears, taught drooping from the head that hangs aside through sorrow's trick. I thought the funeral shears would take this first, but love is justified. Take it thou, finding pure, from all those years, the kiss my mother left here when she died. End of chapter 18. Chapter 19. The soul's Rialto hath its merchandise. I barter curl for curl upon that mart, and from my poet's forehead to my heart receive this lock which outweighs argosies, as purply black as erst to Pindar's eyes. The dim purpureal tresses gloomed athwart the 9 white muse brows. For this counterpart, the bay crown's shade, beloved, I surmise still lingers on thy curl. It is so black. Thus, with a fillet of smooth kissing breath, I tie the shadows safe from gliding back, and lay the gift where nothing hindereth, here on my heart, as on thy brow, to lack no natural heat till mine grows cold in death. End of chapter 19. Chapter 20. Beloved, my beloved, when I think that thou wast in the world a year ago, what time I sat alone here in the snow and saw no footprint, heard the silence sink, no moment at thy voice, but link by link went counting all my chains, as if that so they never could fall off at any blow struck by the possible hand. Why? Thus I drink of life's great cup of wonder, wonderful, never to feel thee thrill the day or night with personal act or speech, nor ever cull some prescience of thee with the blossoms white thou sawest growing. Atheists are as dull who cannot guess God's presence out of sight. End of chapter 20.